The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the People's Platform.
Aloha, and welcome to another episode of Classic Car Chronicles, Story Behind the Rides. Today, we have a 1963 Austin Mini and its owners, Karen and John Byrd, the Bryd's of Paradise. Welcome.
Aloha.
Thank you. Well,
wow, this is a great car.
yeah.
And you don't see too many of these on the road here in Kona.
Right.
Do you know how many there are on the island?
I've seen a total of 7. 2 of them, one of them was a truck, and 2 of them was little panel wagons. The rest of them, they're little sedans.
And I tried to get him to buy the truck.
Oh, so I take it that the Mini is Karen's special car.
More than mine. I found it and went and got it, and the ad was wrong. I didn't even know for sure that's what I was going at. But we had saw them at Road Atlanta Raceway, and she said, we got to get one of those. So the rest, and I was going to sell it and leave it in Alabama when we moved over here. And she said, no way, the Mini's family.
But Karen is a car gal.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I've seen her driving the Tiger, and oh, by the way, yeah, John Byrd has been on our show before, and he brought his 67 Tiger. And so now today, we have the privilege of having Karen and John here with the Mini.
Primarily hers from today on.
So I grew up in North Alabama, and I had 2 older brothers and 1 younger sister, and it was clear to me at an early age that the boys were having a lot more fun than the girls. So I started just following my daddy everywhere. He never had a new car. He could fix anything. And he was always working on something, building us go-karts and fixing up bicycles and whatever. And so when I met him, it was just sort of a continuation of what I already been doing.
So you always liked cars.
Yeah.
And I've seen you also ride motorcycles.
She's been riding longer than I have.
Yeah.
I had a pony, but then I traded it in. Then I traded in for horsepower, and it was a lot more fun.
So let's talk about the Mini. So tell me how it came about and when.
So after we saw the flying shoebox at the Walter Mitty Challenge at Road Atlanta, I said, we got to get one of those.
The flying shoebox was one of these racers.
It was so cute. But he found it online, and we went and got it. The guy said it just needs a fan belt, and it'll be good to go. And it really was.
Yeah. I didn't believe him, but that's all I did.
And this was you said 80?
September of 89.
Wow. But when you got it, it wasn't...
No. It was pale, faded red with a white top and sitting up on blocks like that. The grill was out, and it had the little stock wheels. But he said all it needs is a fan belt, and he was like 6'4". It was hilarious when he got up out of it. Looked like he was just unfolding out of it, and got 2 truckloads of parts with it. I had to make 2 trips over.
But now parts for this, you can get parts.
Get them everywhere, yeah. There's several companies in California, which is the closest, of course, and yeah, no trouble.
So you brought it over with you.
Because of her. She wouldn't let me sell it.
It took up not even half of our 40-foot container, so it was okay. We had 2 motorcycles, 2 scooters, and the Mini, and a few things, a bed and some of that unimportant stuff.
So when you, at that time still, when you came over here, was it like this? Did you already paint it?
Yeah.
Tell me about the restoration, what you guys had to do.
It's 35 years old. We had not thought that it had been painted that long, but we did it when we were living in Nashville, Tennessee, and we had we called them pole barns in Alabama, you know, a metal building with sliding doors, and we actually had a body shop when we lived out in the country in Middle Tennessee, and he's painted motorcycle tanks and all kinds of stuff. So he did all the work, and I was the gopher.
Well, she helped. She did taping and masking and painting. I've made her do priming and painting before too.
We took all the glass out and
All the interior.
all the interior, and we sprayed everything inside and out. We sprayed the white, and then it was a lengthy process getting the designs on there.
So who came up with the design? Oh, you did. Oh.
She always likes flames. And she wants flames on her Miata, but I don't think we're going to go that way.
So you have a Miata. So you drive a sports car already.
I do. The Mini, with being the manual shift, is a little hard on the clutch leg. You know, I'm not as young as I used to be, and everywhere you go here is on a hill. So anyway, we have automatics for daily drivers, or I do.
Okay. So again, so you painted it before you came over here.
Yes.
Then you got here and.
Well, it's sort of funny. The details she can go to, but going to the car club breakfast one morning, one of the guys that had a GTO with a big engine and 3 carburetors wanted to follow me home. We lived in Puolani Estates at the time. And I said, well, let's go up Hualalai. Well, you can't catch one of these things on a little narrow, windy road. I mean, it's like a go-kart with a box on it. They're not, I mean, it won't run over 85 miles an hour, but it'll do it going around the curve. So he was trying to keep up with me, and it wasn't successful. We got down to the red light at Puapua Anui at Puolani Estates to turn left, and he's sitting behind me, and I'm there revving it up. And when the light changed, I popped the clutch and, you know, had the wheel turned all the way. Well, they're front wheel drive, so
Right.
there's a little bit of torsion there when you're accelerating and turning anyway. And I hit second gear so it would lay a big streak of rubber when I shifted, and I blew the bottom of the transmission out.
Oh no.
So 20-some years, and I tore it up. We pulled over to stop, and I was revving the engine. The engine still ran great, and we had to order another engine.
The transmission and rear end are in the oil pan in these
Yeah.
little cars.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So there were parts on the street.
they call it a power unit. Instead of ordering an engine, you order a power unit. You get everything, and then you stick your drive shafts in the oil pan, and away you go.
Wow.
They started building them in '59, and they were going to only build them for 30 years, and they ended up building them till 2000. And they did like 5.5 million
Wow.
of them. So
That's-
they were very popular little cars. And they were winning the rallies right away. And that's when Cooper finally got involved. Everybody always says Mini Cooper,
Right.
but this is not a Cooper. It was the Coopers came later, and more the performance vehicles.
This one was actually sold as an Austin 7. 7 meaning the taxable horsepower by British figuring.
Right.
Which it's got like 34, 36 at the engine, but you know, we've had lawnmowers that ran better.
And had as much horsepower. It's got 34 horsepower.
Yeah.
Well, I used to spend my summers in Spain, and these were everywhere.
Yeah.
And same thing. I used to go, wow. I'd look at them. I loved them, but and back on Long Island where I grew up, there wasn't many of them, but there were some.
Yeah.
But they not like in Europe. Europe, they were all over the place.
Well, I had seen one in East Tennessee, and then when we moved to Nashville, this one and maybe one or two others, they're not over there either. The roads are too big, the hills are too steep.
We loaned it to a friend in Middle Tennessee one time. He was taking it to a car show or something, you know, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks went by, and we're like, where's our car? He's like, oh, so-and-so wanted to display it in the showroom at the dealership. And I'm like, okay, well, good. It was funny. But
Yeah.
kids love this. At car shows, kids love, love, love this car. We let them sit in it because, you know, it's not a hands-off car. It's a fun car, and we drive it, and I guess it was a trailer queen getting up to the house, unless I towed it up there with my truck after he broke it. Thank goodness he got to the subdivision before it broke. But
So now at the house, storing it is not very difficult, is it?
No, we bought one thing from Lowe's or Home Depot. It was a garden shed, and it was 5 feet by.
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, the minis the early ones came in a box. It was 4 by 4 by 10. They're that small. This one's a tiny bit bigger because I've got the front spoiler and I don't know the fender flares, but it fit in the garden shed, so that was its new garage.
in our last house.
In the last.
In the other house.
Now you have it. Actually, you made a little place for it underneath the house, and it fits.
We cut a hole in the back wall of the house and pulled it underneath.
So parades, you guys do parades?
No.
No parades.
The only parade this one's ever been in, my dad still lived over in East Tennessee, and Mama called me one time and said, well, we were living in Nashville or Alabama. I don't remember which place we were, but Daddy would love to have your little car in a parade. Can you bring it over? I said, yeah, I'll bring it over, but I'm not staying. So I trailered it over there, gave Daddy the key, and him and my son drove it in the Christmas parade that year.
And that's about it, huh?
Yeah, and they said it was real funny. The parade in Clinton is about, 2/3 of a mile this way and then a quarter mile that way at an intersection.
Right.
And they started out at a grocery store and had to cross railroad tracks. Mama said by the time they was across the railroad tracks, Daddy had already thrown all the candy out. He was real excited and leaning out. Well, he wasn't leaning out because the windows just barely slide. So, yeah, that's the only time it's been in a parade.
Okay, so favorite part about the Mini? What's your favorite part about it?
The crowd reaction, or people wave at us on the way out here. Some guy's coming by with his arm out the
Right.
window, and people just, it makes them smile, and it's got the ooga horn, so if we blow the horn, they really laugh.
And you, John?
I like that part too, but I also love to drive it on the twisty bits, as the British folks would say.
So you still take it out and have your fun with
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to.
Got to. That's
So-
what they're for.
Tires, what are the size of the tires? Because they're kind of small.
So they're 10-inch. The later ones, starting in '68, you could get 12 or 13-inch. And so one year, right after we got it for Christmas, I bought him these mini lights. They're 10-inch. So, they were in a box about like this, and he's like, oh, a drill press.
Yeah. I thought she'd bought me another drill press. I already had one.
And he opened it up, and he's like, what is this? And he pulled it out, and he's, ah! And it was so funny. We were going to East Tennessee, to have Christmas with his family, and I had baked pies, and they sat down in the wheels, because he wanted them to see his new mags for the car, and the pies fit perfectly into these wheels. And the smallest thing we'd ever had at that point was 13-inch wheels, so it was kind of a hilarious thing. But
So I'm glad you still have it, and I'm glad it's still part of our club.
Yeah.
Because, of course, John and Karen, you both come to the Paradise Cruisers car club, and you participate, whether with the Tiger or the Mini.
Yeah.
But it's always good to have these kind of cars because you really don't see them around anymore.
I know, and the kids and the ladies. But the kids absolutely love them, but the ladies love it too.
So thank you so much for bringing it around and sharing it with us. I guess it's time to go see it on the road and take a ride. But thank you.
thanks, Richard.
Thank you so much. There you have it, 1963 Austin Mini. Another classic Car Chronicles in the books. Till next time, aloha.